Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I have Maxwell Hamilton with me on Zoom. Hey, Maxwell.
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, all right. So, Maxwell's on this podcast because you were one of the actors in and the producer of the film The Mannequin, which, it's funny, I downplayed the acting thing in the first introduction, so I'm making up for it in this one. But by saying making up for it, anyone listening should be clever enough to realize that means this is the second podcast with Maxwell, because this is a 4 questions podcast where Maxwell will be answering name 3 films you love, an underrated film, an overrated film, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. But before we hop into the list, first of all, you should listen to the podcast before this one so that you will learn all about Maxwell and his career and how he ended up producing and acting in the film The Mannequin that had its LA premiere at Film Invasion Los Angeles in 2025, which happens to be a festival that I'm the festival runner of, which is how I got to see it, and took home Best Feature Film Horror, Best Screenplay for a Feature Film, Best Cinematography for a Feature Film, and Best Production Design for a Feature Film. 4 stinking grand jury awards. And
which made our heads inflate so much, I'm still having trouble coming down. So thank you again.
Well deserved. I was so glad that you got production design because it really just looks so good. And of course the cinematography, but excellent team. Everyone should listen to the podcast before this and learn how that team came together and that they're going to keep working together. And there will be a link in the show notes to go watch The Mannequin right now, and I highly recommend it. Just go watch The Mannequin, whether it's on Apple or Amazon Prime Video. Right now, it's a rental purchase. You could purchase it if you're a horror fan.
Yeah.
Trust me. But even if you rent it, this is the time that you can actually, put your money where your mouth is and whatever it is. I should have looked it up in between podcasts so I could actually be accurate. But, for the price of a coffee somewhere...
Right. You can rent it for the price of a coffee or buy it for the price of your breakfast burrito.
And you're also, when you do that, you're actually sending a message because they're monitoring everything we do, right? These massive tech companies that, wow, quality indie films can get an audience. And wouldn't you rather see more of that, more quality films made by people who really care about what they're doing than more efforts to squeeze a few extra dollars out of IP that they purchased from another company when they absorbed a comic book company, and now they're like, we can probably squeeze another 79 million out of it if we make another movie that no one gives a shit about.
Exactly.
That was very cynical of me.
Well, that was one of my answers coming up, so we'll get back.
Excellent. All right. Well, there we go. So links in the show notes. Watch The Mannequin. And now Maxwell is you go ahead, jump in. You want to name 3 films that you love?
Yeah. Okay. I had to write this down. It was very fun thinking of this earlier this morning. And I just stared at my DVD collection, kind of being like, what kind of applies here? But top 3 films, right?
Yeah, well, in theory, yes, you are free to interpret it that way.
Oh, sure, please.
The reason I say name 3 favorites is for some people to say like top 3 like drives them crazy, and they run. They're like, I'm going to go hide over there because this is too much pressure. That's why I just say, look,
my favorite.
These are in the moment 3 films that but you can do top 3 absolutely.
Well, my subjective top 3 in the moment right now. My first answer that will never move is the movie Hook. The Steven Spielberg movie, Robin Williams playing, Peter Pan coming back, Dustin Hoffman playing Captain Hook. That's a nostalgia pick for me, but that was one of the movies that I saw when I was a little boy and just was absolutely lost with wonder. And one thing after another, here I am now working in that industry. So I attribute a lot to the movie Hook. I still rewatch it. I think I bought it recently on Amazon just to always have ready if I just am in the mood. I love that movie so much. Obviously, Robin Williams, and can't say enough about him and his entire performance. But I love that movie so much. It's a nostalgic pick, but it's still my top movie. Absolutely.
I'm just going to share that last night I had the writer actor who was in a wonderful short in the same festival as you, Filmvasion
Yeah.
2025. Hook was her first
Oh, is that right?
when she did it last night.
Okay, amazing.
Chloe Shieldhouse
Okay.
made a kick-ass movie about killing a ghost in a pool.
Ooh, and Hook was her choice as well. Well,
She
game right there.
loved
I mean,
Hook.
that
It
movie.
means I'm gonna have to watch Hook soon
Oh,
because
I couldn't suggest it
because
enough.
I was already I think I was in college when it came out and
Sure,
I
right.
saw it, but
Yeah.
I need to see it again.
Oh,
So
I had the VHS growing up. I have the DVD, and now I have it on Amazon. So it's a feel good movie. It's lovely. Julia Roberts playing Tinkerbell. It's stunning in every way. So and
yeah, that's how they got the budget.
is that right for
No, I'm just kidding.
probably right, right.
But I've learned over the years that like sometimes it was like, oh, if you put Julia in, we'll make the film.
Then it comes up. So yeah, I've actually heard some stuff. Like it was a lot of turmoil getting the movie made. I think Steven Spielberg was attached to it and then not attached to it, and then wanted to try it but needed to do something for the studios first, and then he could have his. So there's a lovely story attached to that movie, and still it's probably 30 years old now at this point. It's still one of my favorites. So that one absolutely is my top choice. My next one is this is where I get a little bougie and this is where the film fanatic comes out. But I'm actually going to combine these two answers into the same. My other two answers are both French movies. First is La Haine or La Haine, if you pronounce it correctly. Or French, I can't remember how to pronounce it correctly. That's a black and white film with Vincent Cassel. It's an incredible movie. It's very, very powerful. I watched it again recently and reminded myself of how much I loved it. It was one of the movies that I watched in film school. So it was kind of me opening myself up to European films and not just, SpongeBob SquarePants that I grew up watching, stuff like that. So it was one of my first that I saw that kind of just like opened up my spectrum of what filmmaking could be and different stylistic choices. So I have a soft spot for that movie. But even so, and not to get political here, but I watched it again recently and it's still so, so relevant with lots of stuff happening in the world right now. There's a very powerful monologue that the movie actually opens up with as the world is coming on, going on fire and whatnot. The lead character is talking about falling and falling, and he tells himself, "So far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so," not noticing, all the terrors going around. So I watched that recently, and it blew my mind again.
And I think I successfully looked it up, and it's spelled L-A space Haine.
Haine, yeah. So it's either La Haine or La Haine if you're French. I'm American, so I'm going to say La Haine.
And the poster tells me I wish I spoke French, but the
Right.
poster tells me that means the hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the name of the film in English is Hate.
Hate, absolutely. And it's about, there was a revolution happening in Paris at the time, and it's about these people of the streets, of the poor community, and how they're holding on as much as they can through a very time of turmoil, and their community, and how they have each other's backs, but also feeling hate for whether it's a government or a system that you're trying to break. So not necessarily pontificating too much about that, but for me, it was very relatable with some stuff. So
I know, to me, it looks like it's got that yeah, because it's easy to forget that Vincent Cassel, long before he was in like Ocean's movies.
Oceans, yeah.
He was a very punk rock kind of actor in France.
And this is a punk rock movie, absolutely. I mean, it's not punk, but like they play a lot of hip hop and whatnot. But if you haven't seen it, it's really incredible. They have this one. It was the first time of me saying, "Oh wow, you can do really creative stuff as a director with a camera." But there's this shot of Vincent Cassel. Kind of doing a "you talking to me" thing in the mirror. He's trying to tough himself up, and he bends down to wash his face, and the camera pushes behind him. And it wasn't a mirror shot. It was like they were originally behind another extra that looked like him, and they're talking. And then when the back when the other actor bends down to wash his face, they push in, so then you're in the mirror, and it's actually just Vincent Cassel on the other side of the wall. But that was my first time being like, oh, whoa, like the amount of creativity that you can do. It was just me in film school just starting to like learn the ways of creative filmmaking. So that one gets a shout out for me. With that, another French movie that I saw around the same time is this movie called The Intouchables. It's all in French. So I remember watching it in college. It was coming out at the time, so I remember I saw it at some little theater in Westwood. And it was just like one of the most heartwarming. I was crying. It was one of the most heartwarming stories of this, let's say, billionaire or a multimillionaire who's a quadriplegic and is looking for a new assistant. And there's this boring trial error of getting all these guys who are polished and, with sweaters on. And then the actor Omar Sy, who is this incredible actor. He's been in like the new Jurassic World movies. He's kind of blown up since. But he plays kind of like a street guy who doesn't really care. He's very rude. He's very unapologetic, and he comes in just to get a signature that he's trying to look for work. And the millionaire quadriplegic says, "That's who I want. That he makes me laugh. He gives me zest for life. Like he's just bored and life is stale for him. He's in a chair, and it's just this like buddy movie that is so uplifting. I will say they did Americanize it and made it a movie with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. I didn't see it. I don't want to see it. I can already tell it's not going to be the same, but it is a popular enough story where the American market said, oh, we can do this with our people. It did not get good reviews. I have not seen it. I will not see it, but see the original Intouchables, the French version. And it's another fantastic, just heartwarming buddy story.
Sounds fantastic. Yeah, I remember when you talked about it, I said, wait, that sounds, I know they did it in adaptation, but
yeah, I don't know if you saw that. I won't.
I didn't see it. No,
yeah.
And no offense, I love Kevin Hart, and obviously I love Bryan Cranston. Yeah. I think we might have seen it actually on cable.
Sure, yeah, probably. Just to me, I mean, it's probably great, but the French version that I saw was just so perfect to me, where I don't even want to risk diluting it with another experience. I love Bryan Cranston and I love Kevin Hart. I just don't need to see that story redone.
Agreed. Yeah. So, all right. Question number 2 is a film you feel is underrated.
Underrated. Okay, I have an answer here, and I'm ready for the kickback. But I have this conversation constantly with my friends, and I will die on this hill. My hot take is the movie Babylon by Damien Chazelle is horribly misunderstood, and people loved to hate on that movie. It came out after La La Land. People say it didn't connect and nobody liked it. It's very long and people say a little narcissistic. To me, I don't know what it was. It just worked. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is very long. It's kind of about the silent era of Hollywood and the transition into talkies, as they called it. But it follows this kind of ensemble of characters, like Brad Pitt being one of them, Margot Robbie being this new like up and coming starlet. Brad Pitt plays the already established silent film actor who's trying to adapt to the new era. Overall, it wasn't received well, and I don't understand why. When I saw it, I had such a blast watching it. I think because probably I work in the industry, there's a lot of maybe like inside jokes that I was picking up on of just, the chaos of being on a working set. But that movie, I never understood why it was received poorly. I just watched it again recently. It was my birthday, and my lovely girlfriend said, we can watch whatever movie you want to watch. And she does not like Babylon. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to make you watch Babylon with me. This is my one day a year to try to turn you to the other side. And we had a blast. I love that movie so much. So that's one that's misunderstood in my opinion, but it's a powerful one for me.
I confess, I completely I missed it. Like,
there you go.
I'm sure when it came out, yeah. And, sometimes the zeitgeist, right? Just people,
right?
For some reason, Damien Chazelle, who's brilliant, people root against him sometimes.
Yeah, which
it feels that way.
Whiplash is incredible. As any indie filmmaker, the story of him making Whiplash, he made it. It was a short at a festival, and then he got he's the poster child for indie filmmakers. And I think, I don't know, maybe people are jealous that it worked out for him and they're having more
They
issues.
might be, and I actually I'll die on the La La Land hill sometime
Sure, yeah.
because but I won't
No,
go
but
on about it. But
it's
you've made me really want to watch it, and honestly,
yeah,
I didn't. It wasn't even on my mind as
right.
a movie I had skipped. I completely missed it.
Something happened. I think it came out in the middle of COVID. So they were dealing with the theater thing and everything. But when it came out, I remember seeing it. I had a screener for it. And I saw it and I had such a blast watching it. Yes, it's long. I think it's plus 3 hours long. And it has some lulls, but I think that the lulls are deserved. Like it is an epic tale of the transition of Hollywood through eras. And in my opinion, the main protagonist, his kind of realization of what a beast Hollywood is. And I'm gonna say there's a montage at the end, no spoilers, but he's seeing a movie of another era, and the most argued about thing is the movie then goes through this like montage of famous movies and clips and CG, like there's a quick shot of Tron and then there's a quick shot of Avatar, and it just shows you the like evolution really quickly through movies, and people hate it. And for me, it was brilliant. I was like, he sees this inevitable beast that will continue going, and he had his small part in his small role in making it happen. And then it ends back and he's got like a single tear and people roll their eyes, and I am crying with them. I was like, I think it's very humbling. So I suggest it.
Excellent. And you know what? I'm sure it was player hating
Oh yeah.
because people were a little down on First Man, and then that was the
Right.
follow up to that.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, sometimes people are just too damn petty. But
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to tell you that there's a joke on the festival juries that if you make Jeff cry, he will fight for your film to get into the festival.
Okay. So
Because I
I'm
love films
curious to
that if
see what
something makes you feel, that's
yeah.
the purpose.
To me, it's a love letter to Hollywood and the crazy, unappreciative beast that it is back at you. And I think for some people, it rubbed them the wrong way, and for me, I was like, oh, it's so true. You dedicate your whole life for this business that couldn't care less. At
And deep
some days.
down, I think we should all just accept that if Brad Pitt's in it, you should see it.
Exactly, and
You know
he
what I mean?
fantastic.
Like whether it's World War Z or
You're
something
right. I
else,
loved all
just,
those movies.
just
Yeah,
stop. Don't snooze on Brad.
yeah,
At this
right.
point, he only makes it if it's worth making.
Exactly.
I mean, I
But yeah,
freaking
there's
love
more
Bullet
to
Train
review.
for Pete's sake. So anyway,
I love Bullet Train. I
it
had a
was
fun.
great.
Yeah.
It was great. All right. Well, the next one is an overrated film.
The overrated film. And I'll say first off, there's a garbage truck stopping outside. So if it starts getting loud, let me know. It's stopping out front. So forgive me. My overrated movie is what we were talking about earlier, just before. Sorry, that's so loud. I don't know if you can hear that.
I don't hear a thing.
Oh, good. Okay. It's pulling away. Was what we were just talking about. My answer is any sequel recently, honestly. Like, there's a couple good diamonds in the rough, but my point, I couldn't, I don't want to target any one movie, because as you know, making a movie of any scale is a huge accomplishment. But there's something happening in our industry right now where it's the IP is being overvalued. The art is being, kind of thrown to the side. And it's very frustrating, especially as an indie filmmaker who, I'm not going to buy the rights to this, comic or anything like that. I can't afford that. So you have to come up with your own ideas, and it's such a trial of love. But any sequel recently, and I'll say like within the past like 5 years or 7 years, more just for the overall concept of the studios choosing to do this because it's safe. Like you said, they can keep beating that dead horse till it stops shitting out money. And they're just valuing that other than new exciting work. And so
And it's almost always the case that the story didn't demand a sequel.
no,
The profits demanded the
the
sequel.
profits did.
And then they have to try to come up with a story worthy. And
exactly, and it doesn't work. And it's frustrating because also us as an audience, we're in that era right now, and we are used to it. It's like you can watch something in the comfort of your own home, and it's something that's comfortable because you liked the first one. And instead of risking your night, you have an hour and a half to wind down with your partner or by yourself at the end of the night. Instead of risking it on this unknown story of maybe we won't like it, we're like, oh, blank two is out. That's safe. We loved the first one. Let's just stay safe tonight. So I don't know. That's my like call to arms for the audience too. Just like, get out of your comfort zone with these sequels, and hopefully then the data follows. And it's not necessarily saying give people like me a chance, but it's more just invest and take the risk to expose yourself to new stories and new storytellers.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to pile on with you and say you were saying sequels and remakes,
Right, right.
right? Because the remakes also, I mean,
Yeah.
I live in Sherman Oaks. There's a billboard that a certain studio owns the billboard, so there's always something for that studio.
Next,
and now you'll know who I'm talking about when I say I don't really need live action versions of every film that we showed our kid when she was little.
Exactly.
Because she did watch the original 1,700 times.
Right.
So just the fact that you have live actors telling the same story,
doing the same exact thing, and
no
then
interest.
The craziest thing is, if we're talking about the right movie, it's still the highest grossing movie of the year right now. Assuming we're talking about Lilo and Stitch, I'll say it.
I'm talking about all of them. Matt, they redid Snow White, right? When I was like,
oh right, yeah.
Do I need to see Snow White?
Do I need to see it again? Yeah.
The original's perfect.
Yeah, right. So why retouch it? But they know that they can because they know it's.
But heck, it even applies to The Untouchables. Like
exactly.
Don't remake it.
Don't remake. It was perfect. Why take your spin on it? Still with fantastic actors. And again, I'm sure it was great. But why?
And now I'll throw a little. What's the opposite of shade? I'll throw some love and light on. Yeah. Can you imagine? And can you imagine how quickly Jordan Peele would have gotten greenlit if he had said, "Here's Get Out again, Get Out 2.
Get Out 2."
The fact that he's done 3 original films after that without being I'm Lord knows, was there ever every studio exec he ever met with sat across and said, "This new film sounds great. Hey, how about another Get Out?"
Right. No, seriously. So it's like props to people like him who, he's got his own story, but he broke himself out of comedy and he wanted to do something else, and breaking yourself out of whatever box that you might be put in and really pushing for something that you believe in is, in my opinion, as inspiring as it can get. So taking more of a risk on people like those.
Absolutely. And audience should take risks.
Yeah.
Just after all, we're just watching. It's not like you're spending $25 to watch something on a streaming service. Like, just
right.
Watch something you've never heard of on a streaming service, and that way the streaming services know that they should seek out films no one's heard of.
That's my thing. So that's my call to arms for the audience people too, of like, take the risk on the unknown movie that you haven't really heard of. Or you can rewatch The Office, sure.
Oh,
which I'm guilty of.
I can't complain about that. Yeah,
which I'm guilty of.
We've re-binged Key and Peele a few times, but
nice. Yeah.
But that's special. All right,
right.
One last question, which is a lesser-known film that people should seek out.
Sure, yeah. And I wrote down 2 options, but I'm going to say my second. There's a movie coming out. Admittedly, I have to be transparent here. I haven't seen it yet because it's about to come out, but it's with people that I love. It's a movie called A Little Prayer. It's coming out. It's starring Jane Levy, who I've had the absolute pleasure of working with before. We didn't have a scene together, but we were on a film called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, which was one of my first features that turned out going to Sundance and whatnot. I've met Jane a couple of times. She's incredible. And she plays opposite one of my good buddies, Will Pullen. Will Pullen is a New York theater actor. He did some time in Chicago. He's not really LA based. And I love and respect him for that. We were talking about earlier with Daniel Talbot. He was another guy, similar aged as me. And we were kind of like, far apart twins that when we met, we just became friends when we were out in New York under Daniel Talbot, and we both worked with him a lot. And he's in this movie, and I couldn't be more excited for him. Starring, working next or against next to, excuse me, Jane Levy. The casting director, Mark Bennett, is one of my personal favorites. So I feel inclined to really just give a shout out to that movie. It's about to come out. It had a limited theater run, which I was not able to see. But as soon as that thing comes out on buy or rent, I will be first in line on opening night. So I want to give a shout out there.
I'm just going to share that Will Pullen was the star of Telling Time.
Yeah,
Daniel Talbot's film that played with us.
Oh, amazing! Okay, so great. So
I actually got to meet him at the Q.
He's incredible. He is when we were talking about earlier when I was out in New York for about a year. We were just the same, like we were similar age. We had just started out at the same time. We were both working with Daniel. And we just became, really good buddies and I was doing one show, a theater show off Broadway. He was doing another, and we would meet up after almost nightly and like watch a hockey game at some bar and and for me personally, it was so nice to have a friend out there, and Will was that guy for me. There were Daniel's, there's a difference in age, but Will was somebody who I was like, you would have been my best friend in high school or college or anything. So seeing the trailer a couple of weeks ago for A Little Prayer with Jane Levy, and then seeing his face, I like shrieked. So I'm very excited for that one. And yeah, Will is an incredible actor, an amazing human, and I'm really rooting for that movie.
Well, you want to name the other one too? Because you said you had two in mind.
I think it's a worse answer, I think, but the lesser known movie is Tangerine by Sean Baker. We all now know Sean Baker for being the best director this past year for Anora, and I'm sure people saw Florida Project and stuff like that. But one of his first movies is a movie called Tangerine that had its time on Netflix. I remember that's when I saw it at first, but I don't know how you can watch it now. It's probably somewhere. But it's an amazing feat, especially for an indie director and filmmaker. I think the story, they shot the whole thing on an iPhone or, an iPhone like 7. Now you can shoot it on an iPhone and it looks incredible, but this was like a feat for indie filmmaking at the time. I think they used not necessarily actors, but like real people portraying the versions of themselves. And it is this incredible story. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's now the Trejo's Donuts corner on Santa Monica Boulevard, but that used to be this like kind of beat up donut shop. And it's about this trans sex worker who kind of goes on this odyssey down Santa Monica Boulevard. And it's a pretty harrowing street to confront a couple of people. I could be wrong here, but I think it is kind of based off the Odyssey. There's a lot of movies that are like based on the Odyssey, and this is kind of one of them. It's amazing. It's, at the time that was huge for Sean Baker, and that's kind of what put him on the map, but it still doesn't have enough, compared to like Florida Project and whatnot like that. But it's an amazing movie, and just for an indie filmmaker to pull something off like that is very inspiring. So I love that movie. I think it's incredible. And just the feat of making it with everything that he had was great. And it's such a good success story because then 10-ish years later, he wins an Oscar for Best Director. So it's a success story in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. All right. I'll wrap us up. So thank you, Maxwell. And thank you for inspiring me to see a couple of these, man.
Okay, yeah, great.
Lord knows. Well, that's a good double feature, Hook and Babylon.
Hook and Babylon. Oh my God, that's my night. That's a Friday night for me.
But they're both celebrating cinema in their own way.
Yeah, I think so.
But all right, so everyone should check out the clickable links in the show notes. That's so that you can go watch The Mannequin right now. You should watch The Mannequin. That was produced by Maxwell, as well as he plays a key part in the film. So watch The Mannequin and then watch Maxwell's other recommendations. Because, of course, lesser known for people to seek out. Honorable, you didn't say The Mannequin.
You're right. Yeah.
That's on me. That's on me to tell people to see it.
It's the underrated film.
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
In fact, if I hadn't done it before, I'm about to give you a 10 out of 10 on IMDb. But
Oh, amazing! Well, thank you.
why not? Why not?
Yeah.
It's funny. We used to now the festivals grow and you stop doing stuff like that. But anyway,
Right. I get to do that.
I used to remember too. All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
show notes, clickable links, hit them. Support indie film. If you want to learn more about this podcast, you go to discoverindiefilm.com. Like and subscribe, please. Write a review, please. If you like social media, it's at DIF Wins. My wonderful podcast producer, Karina, checks those out because I personally quit social media because
Anya.
my life is better without it.
Yes, it is.
And that's discoverindiefilm.com is the website for the podcast and things that have come from it. If you go to discoverindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit that runs Film Invasion Los Angeles, where we did the LA premiere for The Mannequin, as well as Sherman Oaks Film Festival that we hold every December. So you can learn about those two top 100 best rated festivals out of 14,000 worldwide if you go to discoverindiefilm.org. And, who knows? Maybe someday a person of means will randomly listen to this podcast and go, "Oh yeah, I'll go. You can actually donate to the nonprofit.
Yes,
it's possible.
And please do. It's support filmmakers and support curators like yourself, Jeff, and for the organizations that you've started. So,
Yeah, much appreciated. We obviously, when you're in the arts, being a nonprofit makes sense.
Right.
And I just got to get, I have a skill set that does not include salesmanship.
Sure, right. No, yeah, it's the extra.
So when it comes to talking to sponsors and stuff, I'm quite lacking in saying, "Hey, why don't you sponsor our festival?"
Yeah, that's when I do one more shot of espresso just to get that extra jolt of enthusiasm to have those conversations.
Right. Well, who knows? All right, so I think that wraps us up. Oh, I didn't mention, and by the way, well, whatever. I mentioned Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You want to tell them? No.
No, you go for it. I'll just do the drum roll.
On January 16th and 17th of 2026, we are launching Film Invasion in Lima, Peru.
Woo.
Film Invasion Lima. And we're being so smart about it. It doesn't have its own website. It doesn't have its own. So if you go to filminvasionla.com, actually, there's a tab for FI-LA and FI-Lima. And who knows what city will be next to be invaded by indie film.
Taking over the world.
But, I know there's other festivals that strike me as a little cheesy that are all over the place. But in our case, we're going to do it the way we think is the right way, which is filmmakers first, quality first, and just support indie film.
You're here.
Hi, Maxwell. This was a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you, Jeff.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.